Hi, this is Bronwyn the Brave, and I'm showing how to sew the ends of my Frost Heaves Cowl together. This is an alternative method to the grafting that I show in the other video, but this is a little bit easier and it's probably something that you're more familiar with, so I thought I would give this as another option. So this version I started with a regular cast on and a regular bind off, and we're just sewing the ends together. I have wrong sides together, so this is the right side, and I'm lining up my pattern. So you can see it's sort of a rib pattern. So I'm lining those up, and it's a good idea to place stitch markers where you can see that the pattern is lining up. It's not going to be perfect just because that's just the nature of it, but it'll still be good. The only drawback that that makes me want to do the other version is that the inside does have a seam, a visible seam. So you can see that there's that selvage of the two ends. But like I said, this is definitely the easier of the two, and I think most people could handle this. We're going to join those two edges, and we're just going to go back and forth. It's sort of like a modified mattress stitch. Mattress stitch is normally done with along the edges of like the side edges of a fabric, where you're going in the same direction as the stitches are made. But it's basically the same principle. So we're going to go back and forth, taking one stitch at a time. I'm using this little bit from the cast on. So this side's my cast on edge, and this is my bind off. Not that it really makes a difference, but just to orient you. And so you can see how this stitch is sort of wrapping around here. It's kind of twisted around. That is your cast on. So I'm just going to go through that stitch right there. Here's my stitch from the previous pass. And then here's my bind off right there. And I usually keep these stitches just a little bit loose as I'm working, so it's easier to see. I don't miss a stitch, that's important. And then I will go back and tighten up those stitches every inch or so is probably a good rule of thumb. So I just go through, I'll do a couple more and then tighten it up. So I'm just going under that stitch. I'm catching just a little bit there. It's the entire stitch, but it's not really visible there. All right, so let's see these long stitches here. I'm gonna tighten that up, and depending on your yarn, you could get by with just kind of tugging on it a little bit. You don't want to do too much of a distance at once, because it can get too tight and uneven. But if you do it every few stitches, then it should be fine that way. Otherwise, you can do it individually. And if you over tighten, you can kind of adjust it. We just work our way all the way to the end, and I will show you how to treat those I-cord stitches as well. So you can kind of see that the I-cord has just a little bit of a slope to it. So we're going to correct that a little bit by creating new stitches for that I-cord. And we're going to go through the first stitch, and then see if we can find this one. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's not going to be perfect. But we're not going to tighten these up quite as much. I think that's the key. And then the next one is right there. it's going to roll around to the back, just because that's what I-cords do. So let's take a look. There you go. So check out my other video and see which option you like the best, and then make your decision about how brave you think you can be about sewing your ends together. Whatever level of bravery that you think you're up to, I hope that you'll enjoy my Frost Heaves Cowl. Every knitter has a bit of bravery inside. How brave are you?